Hey guys, Demi here from Atlas Vibration Spirituality, and I am here with your Saturn retrograde collective update. And so, I know I say it every freaking time, but this retrograde is very, very important because I actually had a couple people come and say to me, well, over the past few weeks, that there's been a lot of change, a lot of big life decisions to be made. Partially believe that's because of the eclipse coming up in Libra in October, and we'll touch on that in a second, but there's a lot going on. But particularly with this retrograde, it is a reversal, mainly in time. And what Spirit showed me is Thanos and the Time Stone from Avengers, Infinity War. And so we're going to see that time is going to slow down a little bit. It's slower, it's stagnant, and we're going to review what time means to us. So this station's retrograde tomorrow on the 30th. I'm filming this on the 29th. Hopefully have it out tonight. And then it goes retrograde depending on where you're at on the 15th or 16th in November. So we have this for a short amount of time. And so, well, if it's going to feel like a long time, but it's still going to go quickly in some ways, shape, or form. But it may not feel that way. And once again, it is in tie with the eclipses with Libra in October, and then the Pisces lunar eclipse in September. So this is really tying into, because especially with the Pisces lunar eclipse, because it's in the same house and the same area in life that is happening for you in this eclipse. So you're feeling the eclipses now. I don't want to be like we're in eclipse season, but we're getting closer. So definitely within mid-July to August, you're going to be seeing these themes. So if you feel that time is slowing down and you're having trouble and you're feeling stuck, well, this is where we're at, right? So let's talk about Pisces. It's the last sign of the zodiac. I say it's a water and aether sign, so what that means is just matter that makes up the universe, and in this way of a beautiful way of being, and how it makes us all connected into one. I've always said, if you guys have watched my videos, that Pisces has every single zodiac sign in it to create this way of being. It's boundaryless, ruled by the planet Neptune, and if you're into tarot reading in the moon, and it has, like I said, a constant state of being. And so we always talk about the opposites here. So Virgo is its opposite. And this is the axis of putting your soul, which is ruled by Pisces. Soul's about everything, karma, lessons, soul lessons, and then Virgo is about your everyday daily reality and the physical work that you do. So earth sign, water, either an earth sign. So water, the feeling and the motion and the spirituality of things and the psychic abilities, where earth is more practically and grounded. So this is where your physical self comes in. This rules health, your body, your mindset, your everything that you physically do in an earthly reality. And so this is how we experience life throughout our, I would say, our soul. If you are new to my channel, obviously you guys know I'm very big into reincarnation and believing in soul, soul groups and things like that. So it's very interesting because now we're dealing with right now with Saturn, because it's coming into the last sign. It's going through one of its last cycles. It's deep and heavy karmic things. It's about our soul. It's about the spiritual nature in which we do things, the uncompleted missions of our soul that we haven't gone through yet, our dreams, because the soul never stops. And also Pisces rules enemies. So you're going to be seeing maturity and wisdom through Saturn due to timing, flow due to Saturn, and Saturn is about wisdom, boundaries, time, dedication, willpower lessons, and karmic lessons. So think of it this way, with Pisces embodying everything, and it's boundaryless, and the only reason why I think, I'm going to say this is because my Saturn return is happening in the sign of Pisces, and my 6th house is ruled by Pisces. So I am somebody where, yes, this is highlighted for me. It may seem biased, but also at the same time, I've been wondering why time has just been such a significant place. And I've had, like I said in the beginning of the video, multiple people tell me, I feel stuck. I feel like I can't move. Timing is not where it's supposed to be. This is about divine timing. This is about the the maturity of time and how time plays a part in our lives when it comes to spirituality. So we're learning how to understand, to move in flow, to set boundaries with time. This is a place where we're learning about our spiritual nature of who we are. So you may be seeing that your spiritual nature of who you are and understanding the spiritual lessons, so setting those boundaries. And what karma is, all karma is, and Saturn is, it's here to teach you a lesson to bring balance into the middle part. And I've said this multiple times. So one extreme versus the other, and you put the middle into balancing it out, and all it is a balancing act. So depending on where it is in your chart, this is what you're going to do, because you're going to see two extremes of it. So you may feel there's a lot of extremes in things that you see, which is spiritual things. So understanding that you're a spiritual person, getting a chart reading, you may be so into it at times during this past year to year and a half, where you're like, I love spirituality, I want to learn about it, let's get into it, let's learn it, let me get a read, and then all of a sudden you're questioning it. You're questioning your spiritual self. How spiritual are you? How do you embody spirituality into your life? And that complete opposite end of being like, I'm not spiritual, working through that fear. Pisces in its shadow side rules fears, disillusionments, drugs, those kinds of things. So you're probably seeing medications. Like, how much are you abusing medications? How are you going through your time with passing time? How are you dealing with that? How are you dealing with the fear in your life? How are you dealing with the fears based off of how you feel on a soul level, and checking in with your heart space? And so learning and understanding true spirituality beyond the physical, and having and feeling like you have all the time to move and flow, but then there's other times where you feel like you have no time, and that time is moving by way too quickly, and feeling restricted and stuck, and seeing that you need to put work in to either get the things that you need to get done, or to see that you need to be more spiritual in your daily life, and learning to be mature about spirituality, taking the time, dedication, willpower, the drive, the boundaries, and setting maybe with other people about your healing processes, your soul things, your belief systems to an extent, depending on where you're at with your healing. But it's just one of those things where you're healing through things, especially if you have past lives with water. Like, if you've drowned in a past life, or you have some beef with water in this lifetime, it just depends on where you're at. You could always get an Akashic Records reading to kind of see that. If you've ever had a fear of water, fear of the spiritual parts of life, you maybe had a past life where you were beaten, condemned, whatever, being our history here on Earth about spiritual things. It could be something that you're working through. And not a great time to be traveling overseas either. This has to do with water, it has to do with all the spiritual. I don't recommend traveling across bodies of water, going to different countries. And there's been predictions about wars on water and things like that, but I personally haven't seen it. But let's be real, I know it's always all over the news, but shark sightings, things like that, I would just be careful when in water. I would be wary of how much water you're drinking. Anything, those little things are things that paying attention to, and just setting your boundaries and learning to move and flow with everything that I have told you, and about learning to mature through that as well. So what we need to really understand is, how do I put this? The karmic council came through, the Saturn karmic council came through, and this was a beautiful thing. Long story short, I was at my mom's the other day, and we were talking about timing, and we were watching on Netflix Roman Empire. Highly suggest watching it. It's really interesting. I learned a lot from them, and I love ancient culture. So learned more. We were looking at Commodus, we were looking at Caesar, and we were kind of was Caesar before Christ or after Christ? And so we obviously, you learn this in school, but when Jesus came, he reset time, and he made it year 0. So it kind of proves about time that we can create this. And so we are going through, with this Saturn in Pisces, according to the Karmic Council, a reset in time. This is a big way of resetting your timelines, clearing out the timelines. And what I mean by timelines is the choices that you're making, the lessons that you're learning, and resetting those choices that you can make, because with that Libra eclipse, solar eclipse coming up, this is about choice. So as you could see, choice, time, decisions. Libra's about decisions. Like, we'll make another video when it comes to it, but just look at one of my other Libra videos. But it's about wavering and buffering time, right? The Karmic Council says, learn to move and continue to move with time. Humans and the soul will learn and see that time is infinite. And what they mean by that is, life on Earth is short, but the time of the soul is forever. Deep. Deep. Very deep. You take your past life lessons with you to work through in every lifetime you choose to incarnate, to learn, and to grow. And so, it never truly leaves you. And, like, usually they say if you like ancient cultures, or you're really attached to something, or you like the wood, like, there's certain things, I know I have a coworker of mine, she loves, like, bakery items, and she loves, like, bread and stuff, and so I was like, you were a baker in a past life, you know, those kinds of things. So, even for me, like, ancient Egyptian culture, I've had many ancient Egyptian lifetimes, so it's very interesting to see those things that you probably really loved and liked. You've brought that with you because your soul, that encompasses this body and holds the shell for your soul, comes with you. Your soul grows forever and ever and ever, no matter what, in every lifetime. And so, they want us to know that we can experience everything, and having experienced more. And because we're human, we believe that we haven't experienced things. We know that time is short here, and, like, deep within our soul, we know that. And they wanted to remind us too that you will see more as you grow and ascend. Like, it's not always this end, like, our goals, like, we're always so fixated on goals, but that's not always it. And we need to understand that as we ascend, we still grow, and that is still experience. And it may not be the fun experiences that we're trying to have, but they want us to know that humans are still evolving, and that we need to learn to trust in growth and faith with this. And so this is the end of, like, I don't want to be like an end of an era, but it is the end with Pisces. And they talked about, once again, Christ coming again, and this is a new dawn for the spiritual, for the soul to evolve, for Earth and humanity. As Earth continues to ascend into 5D, we will begin to able to remember the past lifetimes that we've had. It's just here we can't. And so we think that timing is just not there. So we're ascending into understanding that time is infinite, that we need to learn and grow through time, and everything that I said. So their main thing, and I'll end it with this and see if I can pull a card. I got a few minutes left. Spirit and the Karmic Council want, this is the most important part, focus on your time, knowing it's precious, when to give it away, and when we give it away is when we feel, or don't, like, hold on. When we give our time away is when we feel we don't have enough time, or we're losing something. So when you give away this part of yourself and not enough, then that's when you feel you don't have enough time. So that is really important. And Saturn is about the journey, not the end result. Remembering that we have to make sacrifices and make changes and mature into achieving our goals. And that things take time, and especially with this Piscean energy, time cannot be controlled. And, like, let's really think about it, and their best example is aging. You can't stop aging. You can't stop the timing of this planet. You can't stop the timing in which things are moving, and there's a lot of things with the the Capricorn moons. We're learning we don't have as much control as we think, learning to step into the feminine and flow, because Pisces is a feminine sign, Capricorn's a feminine sign, Libra's more masculine, but Pisces, with that thing, is once again feminine. So keep this in mind as you're really moving through with time up until November. It will leave Pisces as of next year in, like, March, February, and then retrogrades kind of back into it around, like, summertime in May. So we get this energy for a little while. I have a couple minutes left, but their last advice, for us is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. So once again, confirmation, feeling stuck, not seeing results, working on projects that are not giving us the growth, and this is important when it comes to time. If you don't see any growth from it, the crop is dying, it's time to move on and do something new. It's time to invest in the crops that are growing and kind of not stewing over spilt milk. And I definitely needed to freaking hear this today. So it's very good to kind of see where there is no growth, you're giving too much of your time, you're understanding your spiritual and connected to everything, and moving in flow with the feminine, okay? So until next time, my friends, namaste.